Hello, welcome back to the Midlands Outdoors. I'm back with another video today. Here we are on the Stourbridge extension canal that goes all the way down from Bromford Junction Bridge. There's lots of history down here to discover because the canal used to go further on. So join me as we go and explore the lost section of the Stourbridge extension canal. So here we are on the canal line, the extension canal going all the way down to the bottom. We're at Bromford Junction Bridge, what goes all the way across. It does look very old, this bridge, possibly dates to the 1800s. But I know the Stourbridge extension was actually abandoned in 1935, but much of it has actually disappeared. There is a GWR line, I think it's the Kingswinford GWR, joins the side of the canal and carries further on. So I have noticed a few things at the Bromford Junction Bridge. If we look on the angle, we can tell evidence of an old industrial past. I mean, just on the side of the brick here, we can just see rope burn from the horses from the old days, when the horses actually towed the boats all the way across. There's many lines like this on the very old bridges, and that's how you indicate how old it really dates to the industrial days. Looking back at the old Ordnance Survey maps, you can just see how industrialised it really was. I think there was actually another canal section what split off from the far corner, but it did carry all the way straight on. But if we head down, I'll go and show you the side of the canal and also where the railway goes all the way across. The Stourbridge Extension Canal was a short canal built to serve a number of mines in the Kingswinford area of Staffordshire in England. Although connected to the Stourbridge Canal, it was independent from it. It opened in 1840 and was abandoned in 1935. A short section of it is still used as moorings for boats using the Stourbridge Canal. But I tell you what, it's really cool to see the railway spanning all the way down. I do love my railway stuff, there's so much history behind it. So I'm going to be covering the railway in a separate video. So I've got a person on Facebook, Roy Martin, give a special credit to him. He's going to tell me a bit more information about the railway and we can cover that in a separate video. So right, this is actually where the Stourbridge Extension Canal comes to an end, because just further down to there was actually called Bromley Locks in the old days, looking back at the old Ordnance Survey maps. We can clearly see that by the Bromley Locks there was also another canal section that spanned all the way across, and that actually led to another loading wharf and went further on where there was a colliery there called Burrows Colliery and a load of shafts. Over there was actually called Lay's Iron Foundry. You can clearly see just around the canal area it was very industrialised back from the past. Then viewing all the way behind you can see the GWR line engulfed by nature at the moment, but you can clearly see the train track is actually still visible going all the way through the overgrowth. So the next thing I want to show you on the Stourbridge Extension Canal is the lock what goes right away in, but zooming in you can sort of see the old brick walls just in the overgrowth. There is some very old brick walls going right away there. I think there actually used to be a cottage and something else over that way. I have got a photo that Roy Martin sent me on Facebook, and it shows you the canal section leading all the way down, which is really cool. It's actually nice to see that one. You can clearly tell from the photo how much the canal has really changed. It's just amazing to see the way it is from then to the way it is now, how nature has completely taken back onto it. So right, I found more evidence of a lock system. So if I carefully zoom in to show you, I mean, I've just noticed some very old metal sticking out the bottom of the ground. Look at that. I mean, that's probably been down there for years, and you can sort of see now as I come further this way the very old wall for the lock. And not only that, I've just noticed this, and then just down onto this section you can see all the bricks leading all the way down. And then if I go further down this way in the trees, the canal goes in the dip, then there is a special lock section just right onto this corner. So here we are, we're standing right around the middle of a lock, and it operated differently to the normal locks what you see on the canal lines, because we can see there's actually two slots. There's one slot there and there's also one slot there. It was some sort of sliding mechanism, and it was actually operated differently. The extension was actually built over porous ground and was riddled with mine shafts. They tried for years to stop it, but without success. Of course, the Stourbridge company were losing water to them, but how much they didn't know. Hence the control lock with sliding gates, which is right away here. So probably on a Monday morning, the guy in the lockhouse would look and see how much water was down on the Pensnet side. He would measure how many inches and record it in his book. Then the Stourbridge built the extension for the cache. That's what happened till the GWR closed in 1938. So that's pretty much what the lock was all about. It was actually different to the ones you see. But I mean, if I show you very carefully, it's really interesting to see the detail of the little slots going right around the sides. So here we go, there's actually the first one leading all the way down, and we can see just onto that angle you would have had the sliding gate going right away above. Just notice there's a massive hole going right around the ground here, so you can imagine the canal would have been much more deeper than what you see here. If I carefully get around this corner, but I mean, parts of this canal section was actually used as a very old waste ground. I found very old bottles over here, some dating really old. I mean, you can sort of see once more heading further, we've got the canal wall still heading this way. It's really interesting to see the side of the canal wall, how old it really is. So right, what I want to show you is very interesting. So if I can carefully get over this, we can sort of see now the brick wall leading all the way across, and then once more the brick wall leading that way. Somewhere down onto this section here is actually where the other canal section went all the way across. I will see if I can actually find any evidence of that in a little while. We can just tell how old this wall really is. I mean, look at this. You can see all the very old bricks leading right away to the bottom. I mean, like I mentioned, it would have been deeper than this, but it's been filled with soil and various bits and pieces over the time. But that wall stretches from that corner where the lock was, then carries on all the way further to the bottom. But it's amazing to still see that it's holding from the structure because of the trees that are on the side of it, all the roots going all the way down. I mean, parts of the side of the wall are actually collapsing. It's amazing to think now how this lock really operated. It's actually sort of similar to the guillotine lock that's in the Kings Norton stretch. Even shown in this photo, it's a good example of what this would have possibly looked like, but much more differently. So I think you had the lock system here. Most of the land was all completely open. And then further down there, I think there was quite a few industries that was actually on the side. It is a shame we're losing quite a lot of these canal lines. You can imagine the Canal and River Trust under threat at the moment. I mean, quite a lot of canal sections in many years' time, possibly another 20 or 30, if we don't save the canals, will end up like this right away in front. In the 1820s, a number of coal mines opened up in the Kingswinford area, which was just to the northwest of the Fens branch of the Stourbridge Canal. Although a survey was carried out by Samuel Hodgkinson for a canal or railway to service the mines, no definite proposals emerged. Gibbons & Co., owners of the first mine to open, built a tramway to Brockmore in 1825. and a railway from the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal was constructed by Lord Dudley, which opened in 1829. But there were further plans for both canals and railways to the area of Shut End. The Stourbridge Canal Company then proposed an extension to their canal to Shut End, but the scheme was opposed by Lord Dudley and was not pursued. In 1836, the Stourbridge, Wolverhampton and Birmingham Junction Canal was proposed by a group of businessmen, including some of the Stourbridge Canal shareholders, who formed a separate company. This would have started near the Fens Pool on the Stourbridge Canal and run via the mines at Shut End to Straits Green and Cotwell End before passing through a 1 mile tunnel at Bloomfield to reach the Birmingham Canal Navigation's main line near Factory Junction, where Thomas Telford's new main line left the old one. This did not meet the general approval, with the opposition from Lord Dudley. The Dudley Canal Company, the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal and the Birmingham Canal Navigation and the company were unable to raise the £125,000 capital required for the project. Consequently, they then obtained an Act of Parliament in June 1837 to authorise the work. It was for a much smaller scheme running from Brockmore to Oak Farm. Just beyond Shut End, one concession made was that they promised to buy the tramway which ran from Corbin Hall to Brockmore once the canal was operational. So right, somewhere onto this angle is actually where the off branch carried all the way on, looking back at the old Ordnance Survey maps one more time. So I think it was somewhere around this area. I mean, just right away in front the canal carries further on, but it's completely lost by all the overgrowth. But I can sort of see the old brick walls sort of sticking right away out in very bad condition. But carefully looking this way, there is still some remains of the old canal wall. We can sort of see the bricks in very bad condition. You can just clearly see that the Stourbridge Canal extension line is really lost onto this section. I mean, just viewing right away in front, we've got the old bricks sticking out the side of the wall. I mean, you can just see how old those really are. So right, if I carefully get in this overgrowth and go and show you the other side of the canal, it's quite an hard one today because most of it is completely overgrown. But if I view down to show you, you can sort of see where the canal actually leads to going to that bridge. Right, we're actually standing on top of the canal brick wall. You can sort of see the bits that I fell down onto that angle. When the canal goes even further down the back, it meets a bridge section to where we're heading to, then it becomes lost going even further on, but the railway actually carries straight away on. It's a shame there isn't too much to see really because of the nature taking back onto it. But let's go and show you the bridge, which is really cool. It's actually still there, where you can sort of see the towpath on the one side and then the railway spanning on the other back section. So here it is. This is actually called Bromley Bridge, and just right away in front the canal used to come over our cross and lead further on. We can sort of get evidence of the canal because this is actually where the towpath was situated, leading all the way this way, going to where the people's gardens are at the moment. I mean, just into this angle here, we can sort of see where the railway spans over our cross. We've still got the intact track leading all the way down to the bottom. But what I like about this section is that arch going all the way across there. But there is another arch leading onto this back wall. It's definitely really old, this one. Wow. It's nice to still see this is even still here. The old parts leading right away to the top. But if I go and show you the railway very carefully, you can sort of see the tracks leading up. Most of the canal was filled in after its abandonment. A trading estate covers most of the northern end of the Sandhill branch, and housing has been built over the middle section. A short stop from the Brockmore junction with the Stourbridge Canal to the stop lock at Bromley has retained water, and mooring facilities with a boundary fence was constructed by the British Waterways on the north bank of the stub in 2004. Much of the remaining section that you see in the video is all lost forever, covered all under the housing estates leading all the way down. It's nice to still see the rail track was intact, leading all the way further up. But we can clearly see on the old Ordnance Survey maps, back in the old days, the canal led further on from this angle. We've got some very old coal shafts that were situated right around the corner. You can see there it says Corbin's Hall, New Works. And then the canal carries all the way further up to meet to more collieries, then coming to an end where the Stourbridge Canal terminates at the Oak Farm. But it's mad to think that the canal went all the way further on to meet to Oak Farm. But coming from the section from where we've just come from, you can see all the nature was completely taken back on the railway part, and where the canal used to be right away to the top. Yeah, there was actually like a mineral railway that leads all the way to Ashwood Marina from the last video what I covered before. So you can clearly see there's lots of stuff in this area relating to the Industrial Revolution. But yeah, thank you very much for watching the Midlands Outdoors. I will definitely see you again soon in exploring the Black Country. Going to be back out next week filming bits and pieces, possibly Wordsey Hospital. We've got Buckpool to film. Then we've got several other bits and pieces around the Black Country to go and do. But see you soon for Midlands Outdoors out.